Welcome, brothers. Today we play Space Marine 2. Finally, a gift from the Emperor. This game has been a long time coming, and I paid my Imperial tithe, so I was able to get the game a couple of days before the official release, and because of that, I wanted to start off by giving you all a bit of an introduction, a bit of a getting started guide, my initial thoughts about the game mixed in with a couple of tips and tricks on how to get to grips with the game, how it feels, and just give you a little bit of a initial rundown on how it all works and what you want to be doing in your first few hours, what's important and what isn't. So get your jump pack all fired up and ready to go, because right now, we're diving straight into the thick of it all. When you finish the campaign in Space Marine 2, you have the choice of going to Operations, which is alluded to in the campaign, and then also Eternal War. In Operations, you have 6 Space Marine classes to choose from, and these are their own characters, and it is extremely well put together and well thought out. All of it interlinks to each other, and you get the serious sense of everything having a lot more of a grander scale aside from just your own mission, and I really like that. The classes are all extremely unique, which is such a nice refreshing change of pace coming from Darktide, because at the end of the day, I enjoyed Darktide a lot, but it was just different flavors of melee combat. But in Space Marine 2, all of the classes are completely different and have their own style of combat. It's not just samey sort of style of gameplay, and with a third-person perspective, it makes melee combat seem so much less daunting because it's always the sense of you can see what's going to happen properly. It's just about developing the skills to be able to handle it better. When you first go into this game, easy and normal difficulties will honestly feel like a challenge, but then as you develop and you get your head around how to play and what to do in the right situation, it becomes a lot more manageable, and then you find yourself itching to keep challenging yourself on harder difficulties and doing more. And that's where part of the beauty of this game is, where you can string together certain combinations to be able to seriously deal out tons of damage, whereas in the past you may have just been overwhelmed and died. So you see yourself progress along with your characters, and I love that. Before I continue to gush about the game and how much fun I'm having, I think it would also be best to talk about some of the things that are not always explained and that I was able to learn after spending a fair few more hours with the game and sort of discovering a lot of these little tips and tricks. So first of all, just do the class trials, honestly. It's a really good introduction to being able to experience Operations and PvP, because in the campaign, they let you do just whatever you want because it's the campaign. It's meant to just be a fun experience, but obviously for balancing Operations and PvP, you can't do everything. So certain weapons are restricted to certain classes, and they all have their own playstyle. So doing the trials gives you some currency to spend on cosmetics and, basically create the Space Marine that you want. And it also does give you a nice introduction to what makes each of them unique and gives you an idea of how they can dish out damage and be useful in both the PvE and the PvP. So it's definitely a really good starting place. Number 2, if you have been going through some of these missions and feeling as if they just don't have enough pickups or items and things like that, you're probably not breaking the ammo crates, because there are supply crates made of wood all throughout this game, and one of the things that's very lore accurate is that as a Space Marine, you are a walking, talking fridge, and you are strapped with enough armor of a small tank. So you literally can just roll into these crates, and they will break, and you'll have either ammo, armor boosts, sometimes medical stims, all of those things that you need, which will help make your life a lot easier on those missions. Also, little side benefit here is that you can walk through cultists. So the normal humans that are helping the Chaos Space Marines in this game, you can just walk or just roll through them, and they will just become a fountain of blood. It's actually amazingly lore accurate, and I love that. It's so much attention to detail about these little things, which really makes you fall in love with it even more as a Warhammer fan. And that's honestly such a huge win to have for Warhammer games, to be able to correctly get the scale and the scope of this game down so well and just absolutely nail it. It's unreal. And the operation missions are just an extension of that. I think that they're extremely good fun, and a lot of people don't know this, but the developers actually created an AI director, which is going to be able to adjust each mission on every playthrough. So if you're doing really well, then it might throw an extra boss fight your way. On the other hand, if you're struggling, then it might make a secondary objective complete faster instead. And I think that creates a hell of a lot of replayability, and inside of just one mission, you can have so many different playthroughs that feel unique and special, which really helps to stop the game from feeling monotonous and making it feel like a grind fest, because you do need to put a hell of a lot of time into this game to be able to level up, and I think that progression system being somewhat of a slow burn is gonna actually help to keep people playing the game for a lot longer and give people time to really smell the roses and enjoy all of the little details. As a Warhammer fan, I was really impressed by how the gameplay mechanics actually reflected the lore and how things work in the actual extended franchise. Like when you're fighting the Tyranids, they have the hive mind and their synaptic link between them all. So if you kill the warriors and all the big guys, the little bugs are gonna insta-die. They're just gonna drop like flies. And that's such a good mechanic to know, but it's also lore accurate. Speaking of the Tyranids, if you ever run into any of these warriors that have this drippy green cannon, you want to kill them as quick as possible, because they actually spit out the little flower things that become green barbed wire, and if you spend too much time in those, then you get poisoned, and then you can't see shit, and it also damages you a bit as well. So it's just overall not a good thing. And you can actually also destroy the little flower buds with just a simple pistol shot, and that'll just make your life a hell of a lot easier to deal with all of the other crap that the Tyranids throw at you. This next tip is really simple, but did you know that you can actually teleport instantly around the battle barge? So if you customize your Space Marine and you want to go back to the missions, you can just go menu and launch bay, and you'll instantly teleport to the launch bay. It's really simple and small, but it just gets you back in the fight faster and allows you to very easily customize and then get straight back into the thick of it, which I think is great. So overall, my first impressions of this game are really positive. I think that it has a lot of potential and a lot of stuff that people are going to really enjoy. There's a couple of small issues that I think should get ironed out with time, servers and things like that, but it does end up all balancing out in the end, as long as the developers continue to just sort of slowly give us patches for any small glitches and bugs, and also making sure that people can still enjoy the game. And a lot of people are already saying on Reddit that they should try to make sure they don't do a Helldivers and nerf the guns that people are enjoying. So hopefully those things all continue to happen and we get a game that we can enjoy for a long time to come. But that's just about it from me today. I hope you all enjoyed the video and that some of the bits that were here were helpful. So let me know what you all think in the comment section down below, and also let me know what you think about Space Marine 2 so far if you've had a chance to play it. What are you guys playing as? What have you had as your most enjoyable moment? Please, I'd love to know, and if you haven't already and you do want to see more content from me, make sure that you subscribe. But that's about it for today. I've been Kiv, and I'll see you all on the next one.